Hi friends, this is Denario Research and welcome to the part number 12 of XRP Telegram bot tutorial. In this video we'll finish implementation of the withdrawal function, and also I'll show you how to transfer XRPs from one address to another. At this moment we actually have everything we need to process withdrawal. We have user that performs withdrawal, destination address, destination tag, and amount. And withdrawal process will have two stages. The first one when we deduct withdrawal amount from user's balance, and the second one when we actually process transaction. So let's go down and create function withdraw that will be responsible for withdrawal. So function withdraw, and it will have following arguments. The first one, from. It is a username that performs withdrawal. 2, destination address. Tag, destination tag. Amount to withdraw. And callback. Okay. So let's begin with balance deduction. We need to find our user and deduct from his existing balance withdrawal amount. So as usual, let's copy row user find one, paste it here and update. Actually, we don't need to update anything, which is great. So we need just implement callback. So if error, as usual, we'll console log it. Else, if we have username, we need to update his balance. We did similar update before when we implemented send function. So we can just go to move XRP function and copy this row. Paste it here. So user update his balance. We are taking current balance and deducting amount. And again, we have callback. If we got error, we need to console log error. Else, we need to perform transfer XRP from one address to another address. Here we'll create another function and we'll call it transaction. So we'll call this transaction function from the callback. And it will have similar arguments, callback, but here we'll implement it, and transaction function will return us some data. This is actually confirmation of withdrawal, and this data will return in callback of withdraw function. So return callback data. Okay, now let's implement this transaction. Okay, new function. Function transaction. It may have the same arguments as withdraw. So we just copy and paste them. And in order to perform any operation on XRP ledger, we need to connect to ledger. So api.connect. Then here is our callback, and we'll implement it transaction. We have it already because this is the address of our wallet. The next one is transaction type. In our case, that would be payment, but it also could be offer create, account set, escrow create, and so on. The next one is fee. It is calculated in drops and it is a ledger fee. Sequence is also mandatory. This is actually a number of outgoing transactions from your account plus 1. The next one is last ledger sequence. This number is optional but is strongly recommended. It actually means how long our transaction should wait before it gets validated. And also we need to provide amount and destination address. So we have almost all information to create transaction, except sequence and last ledger sequence. But we can get those values by calling API getAccountInfo and API getServerInfo functions. So getAccountInfo, account.info. Here we need to provide XRP address of our account. As you know, it is saved in our config file. Here it is, XRP address. So we can just type here config.xrp address, and then we'll have our info in callback, and the next function we'll call would be getServerInfo, and in callback we'll have some variable, let's call it server.info. Now we can build transaction. So let's create variable transaction, and it equals to some JSON object, and the first field would be transaction type, and as you know, it is payment. The next one is account. So here we need to provide our address that originates transaction. Here it is, config XRP address. Then fee. So let's provide standard fee 12 drops, but we need to stringify it, so we'll add these double quotes. The next one, amount. Amount should be also string and calculated in drops. So amount multiplied by 1 million and string. Now it's time for destination. And this is our to address where we'll withdraw. The next one is sequence. And it equals to info that we get from the getAccountInfo, info.sequence. Okay. And last ledger sequence. Last ledger sequence. We can get this information from SI. So SI, validated ledger, ledger.ledger sequence, plus 4, which means we take current ledger number and add 4 to it. So we can wait approximately 15 seconds before our transaction gets validated. And finally, we need to provide destination tag. We may have destination tag or may not. So if tag length is greater than 0, so we have set destination tag, transaction.destination nation tag equals to tag. So let's check whether we have set everything. We have transaction type, we have account, we have fee, amount, destination, sequence, last ledger sequence. Sorry, I had a typo here. It's not ledger sequence, it is ledger version. Yes, now it's correct. And destination tag. Okay, at this moment we need to stringify this JSON object and sign it with our private key. Okay, let's begin with stringifying. Let's create some new variable, JSON equals to JSON stringify. And transaction. Now we can sign it. So let tx signed equals to api.sign txjson and our private key. So it is provided in config file. So it is called XRP secret. So config.xrp secret. Great, now we have signed transaction. And finally, let's submit it to Ledger. api.submit tx signed. Then we'll get some callback and data in this callback. So let's console log this data to see how transaction processing looks like. So data. And also we need to save this transaction in our local database. Let's go up and find where we created new transaction. Copy that code and use it below. So this might be helpful, and we can paste and edit it. Okay, new transaction, timestamp we have provided, type withdrawal, username from also equals to from, to amount. Let's go to our models and see what else we need to provide in transaction. Amount, we have everything except TX ID. Okay, so our TX ID equals to tx.signed.id. So we can pull ID from our signed transaction. And we are saving it. If we have error, we'll console log it as usual. And finally, we'll return callback. And in this callback, we'll return our transaction ID. Great. Now let's go back to our withdrawal wizard and call this withdraw function. Okay, where is our wizard? Here it is. And when we start to process withdrawal, we'll call withdraw. And here we need to provide username, destination address, here it is, then destination tag, also here is our tag, amount, and callback. So in callback we'll have our TX ID. When transaction is successful, we'll reply to our user, ctx reply with markdown, and we'll send following text. Done, and you may train transaction by transaction ID, which we got from our callback. And let's put this return leave scene inside of this callback. Well, great. We have just implemented and finished implementation of the withdrawal function. Let's save everything, launch our bot, and switch to Telegram. We are in Telegram. Let's check our balance before we start withdrawal. So we have a certain amount of XRP. Let's withdraw something. Okay, let's select suggested withdrawal address, no tag, and amount. Let's withdraw 5 XRPs. Hit enter, and it's time to confirm it. A withdrawal is being processed, and I guess we have some error. Here is our validation error. Instance of signed transaction is not a string. The reason is very simple. I forgot to add signed transaction to transaction signed when we submit it. Okay, let's save again, restart bot, and try to withdraw again. I want to check balance again, because I guess something was deducted from my balance. Yes, deduction at least works. And let's start withdrawal. Suggested address, no tag, and 5 XRPs. Confirm, processing, and yes, we have successful transaction. It was done, and here is our transaction ID. If we go to XRP Ledger Explorer, in our case it would be Explorer for testnet, we may find this transaction by ID. Well, that's all. Withdrawal function works as it should. Also, I believe that transaction process that I showed you today might be helpful in some of your XRP Ledger projects. Thumbs up if you like this video, subscribe to my channel if you want more videos, and leave your questions in the comment section below. Bye!